Welcome to you, my name's Dayle and this is Dayle's Addiction, episode 2 of Dayle Downloads. Today I want to talk to you about the authenticity of pre-loved items. I've been having a bit of a conversation with my good friend here, subscriber and Instagram friend Rena. Hi Rena. Rena's based in New York and she loves hunting down a pre-loved bargain. Maybe not a bargain, but a pre-loved find, something that is no longer selling in boutique. And Rena has had the experience and she shared with me some really concerning issues around third-party authenticators. In this video, I'm not going to name names, but I'm just going to draw your attention to the fact that all is not what it appears to be. Now, Rena had purchased from Rebag, Fashionphile, and various others luxury resellers. She received a couple of items and was concerned about the authenticity based on some of the characteristics of the pieces. She looked at things like hardware compared to existing pieces in her collection and was a little unsettled, and so she sought out a third-party consignment service. She sent the photographs off. She did not ask for the 1 hour turnaround. One of the bags that she thought was genuinely authentic was deemed inauthentic by this third-party consignment store, which I have also used. And the one that she thought was inauthentic was deemed authentic. She's like, oh, I don't really know what to do now. Perhaps I will contact, in one case, Fashionphile and say I've received a third-party authentication saying that the piece that I bought from you has been deemed inauthentic. Fashionphile were really helpful and offered for her to come into their New York boutique, have a look at the item, look at the authenticity information received from the third-party seller, and then offer an exchange on the item if they had the stock available, which they did. Really open, transparent, apologetic. Sometimes things can slip. On the other hand, the other organisation, which wasn't Fashionphile, let's just put it that way, was not very helpful, transparent or open whatsoever. Instead, the communication was very short, saying that there are differences in pieces from time to time, yet the pieces that she was talking to, she already had one from that same line. It was the Louis Vuitton By the Pool collection, and she purchased another colorway, and the differences between the two were significant in terms of hardware, stitching, finish, vachetta, those sorts of things. So she didn't really buy the line that even though they came from the same manufacturing process, the same time frame and the same drop, that they would have substantially different hardware, stitching, vachetta, etc. So then what do you do when you've got one piece of information that says it's authentic, one that says it's inauthentic, and your own experience with the brand? Well, you do what Rena did and you look for another option. And so what she has discovered, which I will share with you, is that there are some resellers online that do offer to do authenticity before they even accept your piece. And so it's a way, I suppose, for you to get a bit of peace of mind around pieces that you have without having to pay for authenticity. Now, you don't want to be doing this all the time, but it certainly is helpful if you are feeling a little bit uncertain about something that you've bought and you can't get a clear answer. The worst thing you want when you're shelling out thousands of dollars is to receive inauthentic pieces and then potentially sell them on unknowingly as inauthentic. That is just not a good position to be in, especially if you don't intend to do it. If you are intending to do that, well, that's a totally different conversation, and it's naughty, naughty, naughty. Anyway, the other thing that you can do is to find services where they do the authenticity in person, not online with photographs. There is such a thing as considering the smell and the texture of pieces that you just can't get in a photograph. And I think with the growing trend of purchasing pre-loved, this is a real concern for us as consumers. How do you know that what you're buying is legitimate, is authentic, and not a fake dressed up as an authentic good? I'd love to know if you've learned any lessons about guaranteeing the authenticity of your pre-loved pieces, where you go to get peace of mind, and if you have similar stories of conflicting information between authenticators. This is something that makes it, and I'm not even saying that you can guarantee authenticity from the boutique. As we know, there are people out there purchasing from the boutique, returning inauthentic items, and then selling the legitimate items on the resale market. You could very well purchase a fake directly from the boutique. And I've talked about this before in a video where one of the fabulous luxury influencers that I used to watch on YouTube, who's no longer on YouTube but has a fantastic Instagram handle, 408 California 408, purchased a pair of Chanel Ranger boots from the boutique, received them and thought they looked a bit off. Now, she has a great eye for detail, and sometimes I would think maybe even a little bit too fussy. But she noticed some things with the stitching, and quite rightly so, reached out to see pictures of other pieces so she could compare them. And what she found was too many abnormalities with her piece. She sent it back to the boutique, and it turned out that that pair was actually a return. And that's exactly what had happened. Someone bought the authentic pieces and returned fakes, and whoever was in the warehouse or the stores was an untrained eye to be able to spot the fakes or properly assess the return, and therefore reposted to a new client. Can you imagine buying straight from the store or the e-commerce site and receiving a fake and not knowing it? That's pretty scary. So I invite you to add to the comments any tips or tricks that you've picked up for identifying fakes, or where you get your authenticity done. At the end of the day, I think you are the informed consumer. It would be great to understand where you find your truth in this area. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be doing these 10-minute tidbit updates, Dayle's Download, every week on topical issues. If you have one you'd like me to explore, please pop it in the comment section down below. I put out long format videos on Wednesdays and Sundays, and sometimes some extras. I'd love to see you back here. Until then, ciao.